All right, opening clip is 34 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hot dog.
Eat it, Dave! Put it in your mouth!
A little heads up might be nice. Hey! Can a brother get some hot sauce with that?
Hot sauce?
Hello, welcome to the worst movie ever made. The movie podcast designed with one thing in mind: to find the worst movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Ackman. I'm joined by my co-host and fellow mad scientist, Rob Scucci and Bob Hess. Hey guys, how are you and why are we doing? Meet Dave.
Well, we wanted to know what Dave was all about.
We did.
And that's why I'm going to say I'm not doing great. Because, like we said right before we started recording, this could have been a fun family movie. This could have been a memorable family movie. But it had, like, all the right beats. It had, like, a somewhat unique premise, at least for, like, a younger audience. It might be a little contrived if you go into it, like, as an adult. It could have been this, like, fun family movie you watch, like, once every 2 years. But it's not. It's something I watched once for the show and will never watch again. And then I'm going to get mad and scream and curse both your hearts while I'm editing the clips again after we record this. Because you guys are done watching it and I have to watch excerpts from it until midnight, probably. How are you, Bob? Do you want to fill us in on what how you would like to describe this movie?
Yeah, I just know it's not going to be the worst of the season, so I'm not going to have to watch it again and farm for clips.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Sorry, Rob.
All right,
yeah, I'm ready to describe it as best as I can because this is a long description. I mean,
okay.
I'm sorry to say.
All right, here we go.
I don't care that you slept with my sister. Now I got a daughter niece. I don't care that you gave me the crotch critters twice.
Confused? We are too. But don't worry, Bob lives to explain. This is the best explanation.
All right.
Micro men and maidens moved past many moons to maneuver a massive man among morons.
Excellent. That's poetic.
Yeah, actually, that really was beautifully written.
Okay, so this is convoluted as fuck. So here we go. A water-sucking orb inexplicably enters Earth's atmosphere and lands inside a kid's room in New York City.
Yes.
A spaceship, which looks like a humanoid alien who's in charge, is piloted by human-looking, though virtually emotionless aliens. The craft crash lands on Liberty Island in search of the orb. The human-looking spaceship takes on the name Dave at the suggestion of a 10-year-old and befriends that 10-year-old and his widowed mother.
It's the first act still, right?
I know. And I'm going to speed through the rest of it. The crew of the man ship don't want harm to come to the humans after learning about them, except for the aptly named number 2.
2, yes, of course.
Yes.
Direct Austin Powers ripoff, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's a parody of James Bond, so this is like a tertiary reference.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, Rob, let's throw it to the worst YouTube comment.
Okay, I hope you got an hour. Experts say that going onto YouTube and reading the comments is tremendous for your mental health because everybody else by comparison is batshit insane.
If I had known that, I'd have been here months ago.
As a kid, I laughed at this movie so hard that it brought me to tears 3 times and gave me a massive headache. Later that night, I would throw up in my grandparents' guest room, ruining their 40-year-old vintage mattress. This would then cause me to throw up 3 separate times due to the smell, and while I made my way to the bathroom to throw up one final time, my uncle and I would quote the movie minimum once a day with each other for the entire summer after it had been released. I even convinced my parents to go see it again, lying that my uncle told me about the movie, explaining why I had known so much about it. For over a decade, I have held this picture in high regard as an example of pure comedic art, a masterclass of cinema, a perfect film. Meet Dave, parentheses 2009, has ruined my concept of art. What's the point in creation if all of existence has peaked already in the summer of '09? What's the point of living if we ourselves will never meet Dave? I did not write that to answer the question I know you're about to ask.
I mean, that does sound like something you'd write, because, like, obviously that's, in the spirit of parody, because the person thought it was terrible and
Yeah.
decided to go way over the top with the comment. But, I'll give them this. Halfway through, I was, like, still, like, probably a joke. And then, at the point where he's like, nothing ever achieved the height of comedy.
That was the pinnacle of humanity.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, obviously this guy's joking around. Had me there, though, in the first half, so nice.
Yeah.
Little ham-fisted in the third act, though.
A little ham-fisted by the third act. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's throw it to test number 1. Ain't that a pitch?
Money now and a lot more when I get in that office. You can take that to the bank.
Mo's money, Mo's money, Mo's money. I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. To the blood bank.
Ain't that a pitch?
All right, I think it's Bob's turn, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so it's Bob, Rob, Chris this week.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. An orb hits a satellite and goes on a new route. Dave Ming Chang dons a new suit. Before the aliens start leaving, they discover new feelings and fire so many glizzies out the poop chute.
Oh, so we get the hot dog theme going, at least with mine, and then Chris will seal the deal if he took the same route we did. Okay, so my turn. Dave is a humanoid spaceship controlled by not normies. He gobbles those glizzies and makes Gina super horny. But there's some trouble as well. Number 2 makes a hard sell, but he gets shoved up an ass, which is corny.
That is so true. I did take a different approach.
Okay.
Turns out Alien Eddie Murphy is just a big dick. Crash lands on Earth to suck our liquids. Giant vagina drunk bastard. Causing a home planet disaster. Number 2 should have saved us all by killing that bitch kid.
Oh, that's tough.
I went by with a number 2 subordinate
Yeah.
take.
Yes, you did. You
I
did.
want to say Chris 4. Because that kid was a bitch.
He was. Plus, I feel
I
like
don't
Eddie Murphy was definitely giant vagina drunk.
Uh-huh.
I don't like voting for myself, so I'm going to say Rob 4.
All right, I'll go Chris 5. So that's what? A 4 points.
4.5 for Chris, I guess.
Oh,
you know what? That makes the point. That makes the point higher. That makes it a more worthy contender to what's the worst right now is Neil Breen, right?
Neil Breen, of course. Fateful Findings.
Fateful Findings.
Brain Machine.
The Breen Machine.
Breen Machine.
Right.
Breen Machine. All right, let's throw it to test number 2, the most offensive.
Time to give everybody the good old zip and slip with the most offensive.
You keep my penis out your mouth now. Yeah, I'm talking about my penis. My penis is just fine.
Right.
Clipperoo. This is our first of the day. This one is number... Oh, here we go.
5.
What's up?
This is dang. Look, it's falling.
Oh no!
Look at our production value.
Just like the fabric of our democracy. All right, here we go.
As we speak.
Excuse me?
Nice. That was Kevin Hart staring at a nice dump truck, a nice toilet.
Yeah, a woman who in life is probably actually like 6'1".
Yeah.
So she looked huge, but
Yeah.
in Dave is actually like what 2-inch.
Still like 9 times taller than Kevin Hart.
True. Which why they had him in this movie to begin with, so that he could be like a micro human.
Yeah.
Micro man.
I want to
all
be.
All right, let's go to number
4.
salsa over saving species. I mean, this should have probably gone higher, to be honest with you. I don't know what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah, the dancing.
Yeah, they go to a Cuban restaurant, and it's time to save his entire planet. But instead, he decides to make some moves on the Mojito sucking mommy.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
At this point, I'm rooting for number 2. This is why I wrote my pitch the way I did.
Yeah.
You know, no offense. You know, I thought the resolution of this movie, and this is a spoiler, so watch out, was going to be that they're going to take what the orb collected, which is like, you know, a third of the bay, take it home, and that'll save their planet because they're micro people on a tiny planet.
Yeah. That's like
and then they
a
come
lot
back
of water.
to Earth to visit every, 10 or 15 years or something. And the kid gets to see Dave, and Dave gets to see the kid grow up, and they just come for a salt gathering mission to Earth, and they bring, some kind of fruits and vegetables and exotic animals and stuff for trade, and they build this intergalactic network where we can travel in their wormhole, and we can travel in a giant shoe, and
that sounds like a pretty good movie. Now that you keep rambling.
I just realized at some point that I was painting a very senseless scenario. All right, let's throw it to our next clip of the episode. This is number
3.
This is titled 85 Wieners.
Tim change. 85 delicious all-beef hot dogs.
Yeah! Woo! Woo! Yeah, boy, yeah! What?
Well executed, Captain.
Dave, that was...
Union, total dime piece. I imagine that every woman on Earth would like to be Gabrielle Union, right? I mean, look at her. Also, symbol of strength, symbol of intelligence, symbol of good acting in some cases. Was she? I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I still Know What You Did Last Summer. Was that her? Anyway, she's hot as hell, right?
Yeah,
she's super hot.
Yeah.
And she's super intelligent in this movie, repeating lines of robotic dialogue really well, in my opinion. And then they just make her ghetto, and that's offensive.
Yeah.
Like when her true self comes out. It's like in the Pleasantville when the colors.
Yeah. But this is like catch-all territory where it's like they've never experienced these human emotions, and all of a sudden they know like very specific like subculture emotions and how to associate them with like what would be their race on Earth.
Yeah.
It doesn't
it's
make
like if
sense.
all of a sudden Spock was doing like paintings like what's his name?
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross, yeah. Like Spock was doing Bob Ross paintings because that's who he was always meant to be. You know what I mean?
Bob Spocks.
I mean, and I found that offensive. So number 2. This one's really simple, but if you've ever seen on Netflix, there's a documentary, and it's called "Don't Fuck with Cats."
I have not seen it yet, but I know what it's about, and I want to watch it.
Definitely check it out. It's horrible,
okay,
but it's also awesome. If you're going to be like involved in the internet at all, don't fuck with cats is a good mantra to live by.
Okay.
And number 2 is kitty cat kickball.
Yeah, that pissed me off. When he first went to her apartment, right? And he just like punts it through the glass. Yeah.
He's like, oh, a cat. And then he just like, and then you hear the glass shatter and shit. It's like just kind of awful. And I think the audience, at least our smart, awesome audience, will know that that's not cool, kicking a fucking cat. That's just not a cool thing to do.
No.
But number 1 may take you by surprise. This is allowing any alien adult access to adolescents.
Yeah, they became like, hey, mommy, what was that? What was that movie where? It was like a parody film, and the kid's like, oh, hey, I think it might have been Good Burger. It was like, hey, Dad, me and 3 strange men are gonna go up to my room, and the dad's just like sitting reading the newspaper. He's like, don't get in any trouble. Mystery Men. Okay.
Yeah, but it is Keenan.
Yeah.
Or no, it's Kel. It's Kel. Yeah.
Me and three strange men are gonna go up to my bedroom.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
babe.
he's like, all right, no worries. But yeah, allowing any alien adult access to adolescents, he walks into the elementary school.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need to go to the 5th grade class because apparently at this like New York City high school or elementary school, there's only one 5th grade class. And it just so happens the guy's like, oh, you're the sub for that class that I need you in. Okay, let's go. And he just like, without checking his fucking credentials, he takes this really, really strange men into a room full of 5th graders.
Yeah.
And the dude is not just not a teacher, but he's also not a fucking human.
Yes. He's
He is a
spaceship
walking,
controlled by
railgun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're putting him in charge of 5th graders. I was fucking offended by that, but I figured Bob would be too, considering that he is a teacher and he is probably not an alien. We don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think of what year this came out. Was it 08?
08 or 09. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'll give the movie a little bit of credit in that school security had not quite risen to the level that it is now by 08, 09. In terms of like, I don't know, like maybe in New York City it had, but yeah, you're right. By today's standards, it's offensive. Like you said, like it used to be, it didn't age well.
No.
Whether or not it was appropriate or apropos at the time, it doesn't work for now.
It's certainly not. I was immediately offended. All right, so that's what I've got for the most offensive. Let's throw it now to your ad read, Rob.
Hey, do you have any really good ideas like this one?
You know I'm trying to get that chicken and check casher place off the ground.
Chicken and check casher, they don't go together.
Neither does chicken and waffles, but you see how that blew up.
Oh.
Well, Rob will tell us all about it in Rob's ad read.
Today's episode of The Worst Movie Ever Made is brought to you by the election. Sports betting on the election. Hysterical masses over the election. Who's going to win the election? There shouldn't be that much panic every 4 years over an election. Is democracy dead? Are we all wage slaves to a corporate dictatorship while a man behind the curtain pulls the strings and levers, using us as puppets in his grand conspiracy, or her grand conspiracy? Am I freaking you out? Well, look under your seat. If there's a hot dog taped to the bottom of your chair, you know what to do. Wait until that clock strikes 3 a.m. and bite the bratwurst with reckless abandon. Hot dogs at 3 a.m. They can't steal an election, but they go great with existential dread, relish, and just a little bit of hope. God bless America, or don't. I don't care.
We love it.
You know, I will say that I do care what happens in this election, but it's funny because the two sides are so juxtaposed that I could say that, and you still don't know who I'm voting for. Although, if you've listened to Context Clues up to episode 199 on season 312, where we're at now, you probably know by now, but I'm not going to just outright say it because I don't want to alienate any of you people.
I just punched the card so I can get the sticker. And I'm not gonna talk about it. I did it like 2 weeks ago because I have such little faith in our democracy. I just didn't want to stand in the line, so I voted early.
Yeah, no, I went today because my license expired, so I was like, I can't go. And then I called my like local, the Parsons complex.
Haberdashery, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, what do I have to do? And they were like, just bring your fucking expired license. They're not going to check the date.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it was like, they don't care. I was like, all right, sweet. not to say that the elections don't have integrity, but my license was totally expired.
Nice.
All right, test number 3. This is the worst dialogue.
My father just died and left me something in his will.
But I thought you said your father was already dead.
Well, he was just dead to me, but now he's dead to the rest of the world.
The dialogue can't get much worse than that. Maybe it will in the worst dialogue.
Number 5. Dirt nap.
I want to send this out to every precinct, every security company, and every hospital in the city until we ID this guy right here.
This is incredible. Just amazing. Amazing that two idiots like you could have passed the police exam.
See, I tried to tell him, Sarge.
Hold on, it is a fact. A fact that something or someone has landed here. Now, we could be making the biggest scientific discovery of all time.
I don't want to hear another word about E.T., Bigfoot, or the Tooth Fairy, unless they're jacking some old lady's car. You got that?
Yes, sir.
It's good aim, Sarge.
Shut up!
Dooley, what are you doing?
Sending it anyway, Knox.
No, it's just a guy who shoved his face in the dirt.
Wrong. It is an alien. An alien who shoved his face in the dirt, and I am gonna find him.
Nice.
Why is this beat cop so sure that some alien shoved his face in the dirt?
You know who the other beat cop is, right?
He's a comedian that I've seen.
It's Mike O'Malley from Do You Have It Guts?
Yeah. Oh my God, that is Mike. Man, I've seen him a bunch of times.
He was also in Yes Dear, a very shortly ran sitcom in the early aughts.
The cop who is like staying with it and wants to discover the aliens. He's from Enemy of the State.
Oh, nice.
Others. He's one of the.
Oh, okay.
He was the bag of Utz potato chips, right?
Yeah. The feathered bag.
Yes.
Oh, but he is an enemy of the state. He chases down Will Smith. All right, number 4. This is the orb.
Number 3. Do we have sufficient linguistic information to help communicate with these natives?
Yes, I tapped into their central planetary databank named Google.
What a frivolous name for such a vital function.
Well, if you prefer, there's another called Yahoo.
Baffling. What about
cultural and historical references? Already on it, Captain.
Good. Number 4. Is security prepared?
Yes, sir. My team can handle any threat posed by these gargantuan savages.
Good.
Initial reports confirm that draining this planet's oceans would have a catastrophic effect on existing life.
We have orders, number 3. Our entire home world is depending on us.
Agreed. We should not lament the fates of these inferior creatures. If the orb has fallen into their hands, who knows for what nefarious purpose they could be using it at this very moment.
The guy from Hangover, and this was a year before Hangover came out. So good call. I don't know his name, but he got really popular for a little while.
Yeah.
That's Ed Helms.
Ed Helms, thank you. Yeah, you're right. But I don't like what I don't like what Eddie Murphy is doing here. I like more what Ed Helms is doing. He's using the same kind of language, but not with the aristocrat voice that Eddie Murphy is going for. You know, that makes him sound like a Victorian, like a Louisiana pimp,
like a plantation owner. Just say it. I do declare.
Yeah. All right, fine. All right, so how much are you selling?
My peaches, it's powerful hot.
Well, I just got so annoyed that she referred to our oceans as oceans, which is our term for our saltwater.
Yeah.
You know, that took me out the whole time.
And just saying, this is a petty little moment here, but when they are showing us the footage that the signal that they got on their home planet of Nil, they got Earth's signal, and it's I don't know, some really old black and white show, and there's no footage of water.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and they don't they have no scale. How would they know that humans are giant compared to that? What if the trees are really small and there's no water? And I didn't understand why they would come to Earth anyway.
Yeah.
They were not, of course.
They kind of yes-anded their way through it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hated everything about that. All right, go ahead with number 3. This is Bee Gees.
So, where are you from? Do you live around here?
Yes, of course. I am just a regular person from right here on Earth, just like you.
Huh.
I just don't get out that much.
Yeah, judging from your suit, I'd say since about 1978.
Note, all white apparel is not as standardized as we thought.
You late for a Bee Gees concert or something?
The Bee Gees. Barry, Robin, and Maurice, the brothers Gibb, winning 10 Grammy Awards and selling over 100 million records.
Oh, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman man. Now it's time to talk. Hey, 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 stay alive. Hey.
He skipped like a whole verse.
Oh, that's an impressive love for the Bee Gees, man. I'm sorry, I had no idea. You know, foot in the mouth. Listen.
Oh man, that was painful.
Yeah.
I don't even like say if Eddie Murphy was really good at doing the BG thing, like then I would understand why they did that. But I don't understand why they did that because that wasn't impressive.
They licensed the rights for that song for this movie and spent like 10 mil on it, and they're like, man, if they don't sign off on this, we can't have that fucking Bee Gees scene. That was a conversation that was probably had while they're
probably
probably
producing this
while
movie.
Stallone and Schwarzenegger are worried about whether or not their left pec will be shown.
Van Damme's ass crack.
But tell me that you haven't been doing dishes and started going, ha, 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 staying alive, staying alive. I feel like every American father has done just that, and it doesn't make him seem very alien, especially because he's not super good at it. It sounds like any guy. All right, number 2. Quick one. This is silent.
Lieutenant Buttox, what is your status?
Captain, we had a small gas leak. It was silent, but not deadly.
Yeah, but you gotta admit, Lieutenant Buttox is a great name. That's funny. Lieutenant Buttox.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Sure, but it just so happens that Lieutenant Buttox got the job. I mean, you were destined for failure if that's your name, and it seems like the Nil people just chose him to be the ass guy because of his name. Since they speak American English on Nil, they knew what Buttox meant, and so they decided it would be cruel irony to stick Lieutenant Buttox literally in the buttocks.
Yeah, it's also weird that they're bipeds that look human, but they're disgusted by humans.
Yeah, right.
I think we're exhausting Chris's and I's catch-all. I think for the entirety of this episode.
It's a new, it's unintentionally a new game I'm playing. I want to see if I can get you guys both to 0 by the time we get to the segment.
Shit. Fuck, I mean, you've been succeeding in past episodes, but I've got some really interesting ones for my catch-all. So
okay,
let's throw it to number
1.
Snare. You know what? Fuck it.
Speaking of Dave's buttocks, this is Dave's butt.
I say we save Earth. And its moon. My life began on this planet. I no longer feel like number 3. I am Dave Ming Chang.
I have 443 new friends on MySpace and a J date next week with a woman named Sheila Moskowitz. I am Dave Ming Chang.
I am Dave Ming Chang.
I am Dave Ming Chang.
am Dave Ming Chang.
Dave Ming Chang.
I am Johnny Dazzles, and I am fabulous.
Token gay.
What? Not everybody has to be Dave Ming Chang.
Ah! You've all gone completely mad! Take him and put him in my butt.
You would never say that because you are not the spaceship.
Yes.
And isn't Lieutenant Buttox already in that position?
Yeah.
What are you
but
doing?
He's number 2.
Are you? Yeah, I mean that's a good point. If anybody's going to take over for Lieutenant Buttox, I guess let it be number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Super lame. I hated this movie. It wasn't that bad, I guess. Whatever. Let's throw it to test number 4, the worst production. Fuck me.
You're gonna need a montage. Even Rocky had a montage.
The worst production.
Montage.
This is when things make sense. Like I tell you things that I've researched, and you're like, oh yeah. And my tagline for this is too many cooks.
Too many cooks?
All right, so Corbett and Greenberg, those are the two guys who are credited with writing this movie. They wrote the original draft, and they wrote some subsequent drafts. And although they were given the sole writing credit in the actual credits, Corbett said other writers had romped through the script as well.
Yeah, seems
including one unnamed writer who spent 1 week, a full week, adding material after the final draft was submitted.
Eddie Murphy.
No. So, a large amount of improvising and rewriting was also done on the set. So there was improv and rewriting done while they were filming, way after the final draft was done also. And Corbett and Greenberg, they had as the writers, they had very little creative control during the filming. So Corbett said that most of the people they worked with were pleasant, and some of the notes from the studio were helpful, but overall, Meet Dave ultimately suffered from a too many cooks in the kitchen thing. And here's a final quote from Corbett. I had not a bit of control over the final product, and Hollywood does tend to suckify things, often quite badly.
Yeah, it felt like I didn't know that until you brought it up, but I did feel like in my gut that I was punched up by committee. Because you just get a feel for it when you watch a bunch of like family geared comedies.
Yeah,
it feels like there's a writing room and they don't want to say no to anyone's ideas.
They want a joke every 60 seconds. They want audible their intention's audible laughter every 60 seconds. Otherwise,
it sounds like rewrites and improv and more rewrites and improv and more rewrites.
Yeah.
Well after the final draft was even submitted. And Corbett, by the way, I don't know if you guys read this in any research, but he was one of the guys who worked on the SyFy channel version of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
All right.
So he has comedy chops, but this is not the movie he wanted to make.
Yeah.
Corbett and Greenberg do sound like two guys that ran a bank in Interhill, England, and just led to
I sent you a new draft. Why didn't you call me back?
Oh, that was so South Park.
All right, let's throw it to test number 5. This is the worst acting.
I'm a grown-ass man. I got bills to pay. I got another family across town. I got this nasty drug habit, and I'm in love with this bitch I can't stand.
We know all about the worst acting.
Yeah, we do.
We sure do. Here's a few. Number
1, Daddy.
Imitate.
How you doing?
How are you?
Good. Good timing. I got something for you. 3 tubes of cerulean blue.
I just ran out.
Hi, Mark Rhodes. Why does he thrust his arm towards us?
Probably best to imitate him.
Hi, Mark Rhodes.
Lefty, huh? Hey. All right.
Right.
Okay. All right. Right.
Okay. Thanks again.
Yeah.
We're going right to...
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't prove this, but I'm pretty sure he stole that off Dave Chappelle.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But Dave Chappelle
back then, maybe.
What was the? I know it wasn't Raw deal. It was Raw. Eddie Murphy Raw. He probably did some of that. And Dave Chappelle fed off of it, and then it boomeranged back to Eddie Murphy right here, where he got to do it again. But super making fun of the surfboard white guy, but you can apply that to any white guy and it's still funny.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thing that he's doing, you know?
I'll use my credit
but
card.
Do you have any non-fat dairy creamer? All right, let's throw it to number 2. This is Nerdball, and you guys already know what I'm doing here.
Hey! What you got here, little freak? That's mine. What do you use it for, playing nerdball? Whatever it is, it's mine now. Give it back! Oh, what, you gonna tell your mommy again?
Yeah, fuck kids.
Yeah.
I mean, and I have too. But kids in movies is the worst thing you can do.
I don't know. They're evil in real life, too.
Yeah, that's true, but more convincingly.
Yes.
Nowadays,
They actually
not that bad. That's a gross exaggeration.
Kids in movies now, or kids are evil?
Kids in general. Like, there's no bullies like that.
I feel
that I
like
know
kids
of.
these
No,
days, and I don't want to sound like a old man yelling at a cloud. Kids these days are a lot more risk averse because they see the consequences of recording everything you do and it backfiring tremendously.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Everyone wants to blend in, and that's why all music sucks.
Yes.
All right, let's throw it to number 3. This is Rectum. I hardly knew him.
Man is talking about?
He's trying to discern if you intend on becoming Gina's mate.
What an absurd notion. I intend on becoming Gina's mate. She's the size of our science pavilion. These primitive creatures and their silly speculations. Wait. What's that?
What do you want, midget?
Rich, you gotta give me my rock back.
Oh, really? Why?
Because it's really important to me and my friend Dave.
It's the jerk we seek.
Rich, you gotta give me my rock back.
Boy, it's like you're asking me to punch you.
So, smell my. We meet again.
Mom, you're giving me a wedgie!
Smell mine. Are you crying because you are sad or because your undergarments are lodged so cuttingly deep in your rectum?
I'm telling my mom.
Yes.
I mean, bringing back the Smell My once was kind of funny, but then they do it again, and it's like, for those who didn't catch it the first time, you know, and that like.
And it's patronizing.
Yeah, it is, but also that child, the big fat bully kid.
Yeah.
Is not a good actor.
No.
And so I wanted to give you that twice. So there you have it.
Yeah, he's
all right,
not.
let's start the fact or no fact.
This should be good.
Oh.
Fact or no fact?
Absolutely, positively, no
fact.
Now these chicken breast or is your breast?
So my brother's name is Dave, and he used to back in like middle school. There was a girl that called him Schmave, and so every time I saw Meet Dave, I saw Meet Schmave. And if my brother's listening, sorry, Dave, but I had to. That's what I thought of when I heard of Meet Dave. I Meet Schmave.
Can we do
and if you're listening, and if Dave, if you're listening. Email us at theworstmovieevermade.com and tell us how angry you are at your brother Bob.
Yeah, really lean into him, Schmave.
And then just like tell us what movie you want us to do.
Yeah. Also that.
He's a good dude. Anyway, fact or no fact this week is once again 4 things about the movie and 1 thing that's not about anything, and you have to figure out what the lie is out of these 5 things I'm going to read you. Okay, here's the first one. Eddie Murphy considers Meet Dave as one of the worst movies he's ever made. That's the first one. Second one. Co-writer Bill Corbett originally pitched this idea to SyFy.com as a possible web series. Okay, third one. This was nominated for a Razzie for Worst Screen Couple, which was Eddie Murphy inside of Eddie Murphy. Okay, fourth one. Meet Dave was originally titled Starship Dave. And the fifth one. This movie holds the record for the highest number of theater drops for a film in a wide release, which means the number of theaters that dropped the movie after the first week.
That's tough. I don't know. I don't know the box office numbers because I try to go in blind with these. All right, I'm gonna say Eddie Murphy considers Meet Day to be one of the worst movies he's ever made. I almost want to circle back to that one because I think he said that about Pluto Nash, which we also did, and you can hear that episode at www.theworstmovieevermade.com. Co-writer Bill Corbett pitches to SyFy as a possible web series. Now I'm starting to think Bob planted the SyFy seed early. Like the SyFy thing's true, and the MST3K thing is true, but like now that it's in our heads, you made something up about him pitching it to SyFy because like it's part of his aura, you know. So that might be bullshit too. Nominated for a Razzie for worst screen couple. This could also be Bob foolery because I think the worst screen couple is the chick, the mom, and Eddie Murphy because they were also a really bad screen couple. And Eddie Murphy and number 3 is also a non-screen couple if you think about it because they have like that sexual tension, even though they're not humans, even though they like dip in and out of being human, even though they hate humans.
Yeah.
Was originally titled Starship Dave. I believe that because when I was trolling the YouTube comments, there were a lot of Starship Troopers references on the trailer, on the trailer comments. Holds the record for highest number of theater drops for a film. That's also up for debate because I don't know how it performed at the box office, and if I knew what the ticket sales were, it'd be easier to sniff that one out. I am going to say number 2 is Bob foolery. I think you planted the SyFy seed early, so you could do this as a misdirect. So number 2.
Okay. I'm going to go with number 4 because I think the Starship references are exactly what Bob used to disguise his lie. And I think it was meant to be Meet Dave, and Bob was like, that's a stupid name for this movie. So Meet Dave, being Starship Dave, is the lie. Go ahead, Bob.
Meet Dave is a stupid name for this movie, but you're both wrong.
Damn it.
So Eddie Murphy considers Meet Dave one of the worst movies ever made. He actually said, and I quote, Eddie Murphy, "I even played a spaceship once. That shit didn't go well."
Okay. At least you can laugh about it.
Yeah. And yeah, he actually pitched this to SyFy as a web series. This was nominated for a Razzie for Worst Screen Couple, Eddie Murphy inside Eddie Murphy. And Meet Dave was written under the title Starship Dave. The lie was...
Yeah.
It at the time, it did hold the record for the highest number of theater drops, but it was beat like a year later by something else. But here's...
What?
Yeah.
Bob, you gotta come up with the info, man.
Probably R.I.P.D.
No, here's the interesting part. It lost 2,523 theaters in the first week, which was 77% of the theaters that was holding this movie. But I forget what the other movie was. It lost like 80%, like a year later. Like it hasn't even come close to holding the record. It's just
I feel
at
like
the time
it
had the
we
record.
owe the audience the answer to that.
All right, maybe I'll bring that up
Bob,
for next.
You know why? Because I'm like about to scratch my neck like Biggins from fucking what's his name? Anyway, I feel like a crack addict. Like I need to know the
Tyrone Biggums is what you're talking about.
Tyrone Biggums. Yeah.
Yeah. I need that Chappelle drop. Like, you got any answers for how many theater drops there have been? Because I want to know which is the number one. What beat it a week or a year later?
Well, the one that broke, I looked it up quickly. The one that broke the record right after it, which was, I'm sorry, not right after it. It was like 8 years later. It was a movie called Live by Night or Live by Night. It was a Ben Affleck movie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice. We haven't done enough Affleck. I think we should do Daredevil next season.
And it was, instead of 77% of theaters, it was 94.1% of theaters dropped it.
Jesus Christ. That's of the available pool that they grabbed in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So it could have been more theaters, but yeah. All right, let's throw it to the catch-all. Me too. Should I go first, Bob?
I think it's my turn this week. Okay. So I had a hard time with Catch-All this week. When I first watched this movie, I literally had like two Catch-Alls that were almost the same thing, like back to back, and then I realized the movie was over. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't hate this movie that much. But through research, I found some more things. So my first Catch-All is the not understanding the fish out of water nonsense doesn't work when they both seem to be humanoids with similar understanding of an identical language.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
That was my biggest gripe.
Yeah.
That was my biggest gripe too. That was the first thing I thought of and the last thing I thought of.
I'm gonna sort of say that, but not yet. My number 5 is how to navigate the ferry situation with Dave Meng Chang before they figured out how to walk and talk.
Yeah.
They got him on a ferry. They paid for the ferry. They said, I don't have a car. He got off.
Right.
From how did they do all of that? It seems logistically impossible considering he didn't speak yet until he met what's her face, crazy hot. And I don't mean super hot. I mean hot girl that looks crazy. You know?
Yeah.
Like when he met her in the alleyway. He figured out how to use his voice. So.
Oh yeah, with the frequencies. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I wondered how he spoke to the ferry operator or the person taking their tickets or money or whatever. That never would have happened. All right, go ahead, Bob.
I guess he was just a well-dressed dude, and they just thought he was legit.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is kind of the same gripe as number 1 for me, or number 5, whatever. It has all the makings of a fish out of water experience, but very inconsistent if the mini adults are suddenly allowed to show emotion just because of humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my second biggest gripe. They understand the language, but they don't understand humans. But then they don't understand emotions, but they suddenly, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, because you don't develop emotions like that, even if you're a super advanced species. You need years of compartmentalizing different social norms through lived experience. You can't just download that shit.
It was like all the Nilians had these suppressed emotions that they really wanted to express. But until humans gave them the courage, they weren't willing to come out. And I mean that. But,
yeah.
So my number 4 is why would they equip the giant Eddie Murphy ship with an Earth human-sized pencil sharpener nostril?
Yeah, that's true. It's very true. It's a
Especially
very specific thing to have.
You're traveling light years, but just in case you need to sharpen a pencil.
Not only that, a giant pencil.
Yeah.
Right, an enormous pencil. Like a pencil that is 5 humans in size.
Yeah.
Let's sharpen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bob.
Huh.
I was gonna say the physics. So in general, the physics of when they're tiny and projectiles from Dave's foot from the bus, like they fly from the bus windshield to Dave's foot. It's impossible. They would have been broken. All the bones would have been broken. But like everything that happened physically with the just tiny people, is impossible.
Agreed. My number 3. And I kind of mentioned this already, but 2 beat cops in charge of investigating a meteor crash landing site at the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, the FBI would have showed up and been like, "We're in charge." They're like, "Not anymore. You're not." Like immediately.
Right. Like, you know, some geologist would be like, if they thought it was a meteorite, you know, it would not be a fucking like 2-man team from the NYPD that showed up at the Statue of Liberty to excavate it to see if they can find any meteorite. It would have been someone else, not 2 beat cops, for sure.
Yeah.
It would have been
the
Randy
timing
Marsh
of that.
before it was that.
Yes. The timing of your point is perfect because my number 2 is that the NYPD actually doesn't have jurisdiction on Liberty Island. It's federal land.
Oh.
Look at that.
Yeah. So you
it
guys
would
are
be the
on
FBI.
point.
You could have called it.
It would have been the FBI, yes.
Wow. How about that? My number 2 is taser power is apparently enough to repower an entire ship and enough to shoot a foot into space.
And also, given what we know about cops, a kid running up and grabbing a taser, how did he not get like shot immediately like 9 times in the back of the head?
Up and dropped into that orb.
He would have been lit the fuck up, dude. And then they would be like, "Oh, my body cam was off. Sorry."
Shark beat ooh-ha-ha. That dude is getting lit up.
Yeah.
No way he would have
pumped. Just fucking pumped, dude. Yeah.
Bob, you got one more?
All right. So yeah, when the 2 cops are checking the impact site on Liberty Island, one of the rocks in front of policemen wobbles like only a lightweight object would do. Like it was obviously a prop rock.
Like styrofoam, yeah.
And I thought that was like an obvious gaffe. Like they should have seen that and said, "Cut. Let's reshoot this because that does not look like a rock. It looks like a styrofoam rock, which is what it is."
Yeah.
And I thought a big budget production like this would not allow that to stay in, but they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, "Prop rock. What are you doing here instead of playing bass for Metallica right now?" All right, let me throw up to my number 1.
Daddy.
The entire movie, I was annoyed that they hadn't explained to me the tiny face Eddie Murphy interface with the large Eddie Murphy, right? I didn't understand how he connected to the big thing. But then at some point, they're like, "All right, stand here," because they wanted Johnny Glitter or Johnny Blazin or whatever the fuck he was, like, you know, the gay guy that like wasn't Dave Ming Chang.
Yeah.
They wanted him to do the salsa, so they had him stand on the platform where he did
Yep.
the thing. Right.
But he gave voice instructions.
Yeah, he also took over the voice of Dave. And so
Yeah,
if
he
you're
did.
in that platform, that's where you control the Dave. And that made sense to me, I guess, sort of, kind of, but at the end of the movie, I'm just saying. They aren't all standing on that platform. The aliens are just talking inside of Dave's like ship head, and Dave starts talking out loud in the investigation room because of them talking out loud. And then somebody's like, "Who left the speaker on?" And that made so the whole premise is ruined because if the speaker was on the whole time while Dave is talking to be Dave, then the aliens inside his head couldn't talk without it coming out of his mouth, which they do the entire movie.
Yeah.
So the whole fucking thing is totally ruined. And fuck that, and I hate that. And all right, I'm good. You want to throw it to what we're watching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Mike O'Malley, for somebody who championed youth sports, he became a slave to the donut in the interim years.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Well, he was in New York.
I just asked the guys, like, what are we watching? What are you watching? And instead I get,
Oh, you think you got jokes? You know what you're gonna get? You're gonna get this gas money. Take that with you. Take that gas money with you. That's what you're gonna get. Who got
Like that version of Mike O'Malley and the aggro crag, I think he wouldn't make it up 2 steps.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Speaking of farts, though, like, Rob, what do you say to your kids when they fart? You have to have a response, right? You're not like weird and you don't respond at all. You must say something.
Here's the thing, my daughter Bowie, she lets out like long like firecrackers every once in a while, and I go, "Who farted?" And she goes, "It wasn't me. I didn't feel it." As if like I didn't hear it come out of her butt and then smell it immediately. But because she didn't feel it, she absolves herself of culpability.
She didn't have the brubles.
Yeah, it wasn't me. I didn't feel it. Is what she would say to me.
Yeah, nice.
All the time.
Yeah, okay. I got that. I'm just like, when I hear it, I'm like, toot! And then I like just point at who I thought it was.
I do call my son Atticus Pinch, Pooh Radley, and To Kill a Mockingbird. That's a new development.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, so anyway, I'm watching Election Day coverage as soon as this ends because I need to know what the fuck is happening with the country.
Maybe don't look until tomorrow. Maybe get a good night's sleep first.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's not possible. And also I'm trying The Sopranos again.
I gotta watch that.
I can't. I don't know. I've been through like 6 episodes now, and I fucking hate it still. I just like somebody give me the power to stay with it for an entire season because I just don't understand why.
Here's what I'm doing. Tony Soprano,
one person, and he goes to therapy a lot in 5 episodes. And I'm like, when does this show happen?
Tony Soprano, or at least James Gandolfini, was 37 when the show started.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting till I'm 37 to see how much I don't relate to him with my current life parallel to his. Yeah.
I'm almost there. But yeah, it's again like this was I really love HBO shows. I'm not shitting on HBO, but like 2 of their biggest are The Wire and The Sopranos.
Yeah.
And I can't get into either one of them. They're just too slow burning. I don't understand why people love them so much.
Isn't The Wire considered one of the best TV shows ever
made? Yeah. It's like one of anyone who knows TV would list it among their top 3. And I can't get into it.
I've heard similar opinions of Chris's in terms of The Wire. Sopranos, I've heard critical acclaim, but I honestly, every clip I see, every partial episode I watch, I don't like it. Yeah. I don't identify or sympathize with the lead character, which makes me not want to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that they're supposed to be scummy and criminals, but that makes me not want to watch it. It's just irritating.
Yeah, I just don't. I just think it's boring.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Bob.
All right, so last week was Halloween. So I watched. So Gilbert Gottfried, God rest his soul.
God rest his soul.
Has a podcast where he talks about old Hollywood. Him and his co-host and his guests. His guests are all old Hollywood people or old showbiz people. And they had a Halloween episode from 2020 where they talked about a movie called The Black Cat from 1934. And I know that's really old. But it starred Bela Lugosi and Boris Karloff. And anyone that knows anything, that's the original Dracula and Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
They shared the screen in this rare horror gem from the 1930s, 1934 to be specific. And if you can appreciate the limitations of the time period and can see the use of light and shadow to convey horror in a black and white movie, I think you'd appreciate this movie. It's not for everybody, but it was talked about at length, and my curiosity was piqued, and I said, okay, I'm going to watch it. And it's only 65 minutes, so it's not a huge commitment. Like if you can appreciate that kind of a medium and be in the time period just for an hour and 5 minutes,
yeah,
I think you'd be like, yeah, I kind of like this. So I wasn't disappointed. I was not disappointed, but I would not give it any higher than 3.5 stars out of 5.
All right.
Fair enough.
Cool. All right, it's up to me now. All right.
Yeah.
So, I'm halfway through the 10-episode run of Chicken Nugget, the Korean comedy drama about.
Right.
It's getting weird. It's getting very, very weird.
Really? Really?
Yes.
Yeah, really.
Put
it this way.
called Chicken Nugget is starting to get a
Yeah,
little
but like,
funny.
here's the thing: is like when the girl got turned into a chicken nugget, it was like this weird, like strangely emotional story. But now it's just getting
but
weird.
now the guy's like trying to figure out how to fuck it.
On the nose, my friend. Okay.
How did I know?
Because of Chris's incessant plugging of this show, I am caught up and waiting for the final episode of The Penguin. It is fucking amazing.
Yes.
Bob, you mentioned how you don't like the scummy characters in the Sopranos, how it's hard to identify with them, and I agree with that. The way I was talking about it on Reddit, and the way I described it is, it's a neo-noir crime drama that's Sopranos adjacent, but uses Batman lore. And Oswald Cobblepot, is basically a somehow more scummy version of Christian Bale's character from American Hustle.
Yeah,
and it really, this the whole, like, you always see his wheels turning, even when he's like fucking himself. It's like he's always 2 steps ahead, but you don't know it, or it will soon reveal as to how he's. It's cool. I thoroughly enjoy it.
He's like, you can't blame me for trying to survive in this environment. What I have to do to survive this environment is a lie.
But he's a bumbling fucking idiot, and you don't know if it's a put on or if he's actually messing things up, because he always bounces back somehow, and it's fucking thrilling. I love it. Two more things.
He's somewhere between like the shark and Jaws, and it's like he's either very smart or very dumb.
Yes, exactly.
And it works out either way.
Yes. I started part 1 of 3 of This is the Zodiac speaking on Netflix. Apparently there's a man named Arthur Lee Allen who's like a teacher who like is the primary suspect. He died in 92, and they're trying to like make a case as to why it may have been him. Yes. And he's the same guy they talk he's the same guy they talk about in the Robert Graysmith books and the movies. But I haven't read the reviews, but a lot of people are saying it's infuriating because they get a lot of shit wrong, or they're sensationalizing it in the wrong way. So I haven't made my mind up on it yet, and I'm not going to read what other people have to say about it until I finish it myself. And then the last thing, I really love it. It's called Love to Hate Nickelback, and it's a 90-minute rockumentary on like their ascent to fame, like being universally reviled by everybody, and then like overcoming it. And they're just really cool dudes. Like, they started the band going like, we want to sell a shit ton of records and be arena rockers, and we know it's cringy, but this is the music we like writing. And like, I kind of really respect them a lot more. I'm not a fan of Nickelback. I could name like the singles maybe, but I kind of want to go back and listen to their entire. I want to listen to their whole discography and see how it changes me at this point, because I really respect them as human beings.
Yeah,
like I honestly, I honestly respect a lot of musicians for that same drive, that same goal. They didn't get that famous by accident. They put the work in, and they are enjoying the fruits of their labor. Right. I feel the same way about like country music. Like, I'm never ever going to be a fan, but I can respect the drive. I can expect the work and the goal and the sweat equity they put into it. Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because I have a few country hits myself. I'll have to sing you off camera.
Make a good habit out of you.
Oh my god, that's my banger. I think that's the one.
We gotta figure out off air how to write that one.
Never hear that.
Yes,
I will disconnect immediately. But go ahead.
No, Bob. When we go off air, I'm gonna fucking sing this for you. And I hope that our 185 listeners or 312 listeners or whatever all want to hear it so bad that they text us or something, email us.
www.theworstmovieevermade.com.
Anyway, I never sent you a bad credit name.
Yes, but I got some jazz that you could talk over because I noticed it mid-show. So here, this is Donna Lee, which is a Charlie Parker trumpet solo, but played by Jaco Pastorius on the fretless bass.
Oh, nice.
Zach, Detox, Judson, Rick Schick, Night Train Zetterberg.
Ooh, Night Train.
David Goldie Goldsmith. Pete Frutker. Dave Roseclose. James Biff Thompson.
Yep.
And Tip Crank.
I'm sorry, Tip Crank?
Skip Crank.
Skip Crank. Ew. All right, that's somehow worse.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Those were our bad credit names. How about the offensive movie game? Minigame? Movie game. Both.
My dude, mind your business, because I'll fight a woman if that's what your big ass really is.
Oh, that's the kind of thing that fits in the offensive minigame.
Oh my god. I've dropped my pens twice now. Regag Rescue or Maracas or Mundicide.
Can you repeat that, please?
Regag
Rescue. Yeah.
Or Maracas or Mundicide. Mundicide is the killing of an entire planet.
Oh.
I'm going to go with that one, probably. That's like genocide, but like way more sidier.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, it's every side.
Inglisible Burgers or 85 Wieners.
I mean, like,
I think the Inglisible Burgers, because that's unexcusable to have just empty buns.
Go up to a starving child or a homeless man and go, do you want this not food or do you want this food? So I think the not food is more offensive.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right, let's flip it. Allowing alien academics or allowing affianced overdose.
Oh, that's it. The overdose.
overdose.
Oh my god.
He was cheating on her while she was committing suicide at the same time.
Yes.
So that's worse than not checking someone's ID at the door to be a substitute teacher.
Yeah.
I was a substitute teacher for 2 days before I quit, about 15 years ago.
Yeah. Well, Breen was burying
that
his
thorough.
dye in her fungus cave, and that's no good. We don't want that. So let's throw it to the movie comparison.
Yeah.
You know, they call it vagina, but it's Vagina. V''G''I''N''A. It's Vagina. You can't even spell vagina. That's what you're trying to spell vagina.
Hey, Rob, Fateful Findings, you had a 4.5.
Yep.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, isn't that what you have for this one?
Yeah, that was my point.
So
did you say like how good that was, so I could be like, yeah, I had the same thing.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing.
Well,
the wash
minigame we already know. Yeah, the wash. Fateful Findings wins on offensive. How about dialogue? Obviously, Fateful Findings.
Yes,
Fateful Findings. Yes.
Hey, what's worse? Continuity errors galore, or too many cooks?
Oh, the continuity errors were bad.
Continuity. I need to watch Too Many Cooks after this. The Adult Swim thing. Too many cooks? I'll text you guys later.
Acting, what was worse? Obviously, Fateful Findings.
Yes, obviously, Fateful Findings, yeah.
What's the demerit for me, Dave?
Fart jokes.
Yeah.
I was going to say shit jokes.
Just fart and butt jokes.
Fart and butt. I want fart and butt.
You want
Lieutenant
fart and
Buttox.
butt. Lieutenant Buttox. Yeah.
All right, what's worse? Breedy bits, no tits, or fart and butt?
No tits.
No tits.
Yeah, I'm going Breedy bits and no tits.
Yeah, the fact that we
'Cause
saw
they teased the tits.
we saw Neil Breen's nipple and butt, and we didn't see.
Oh.
we didn't see any of the nice, sweet, supple little mammalian
saw-
protuberances.
They really teased them.
I saw both Breen butt cheeks and one Breen nipple.
Oh God! Don't remind me. Damn it.
Lady nipples and 0 lady butt cheeks, and
Yes.
that makes me upset.
That's burn it to the ground.
Yeah, the only thing making a clap was Neil Breen's laptops as he was throwing them to the floor, and I'm not cool with that.
As he was throwing several copies of the same novel, which was his old novel, which why would you be referencing that to write a new novel? Or the other shit you were working on, which wasn't even a novel. Sorry.
Not a novel idea, if you ask me.
Sorry for flying off the handle like that.
Hey guys, we got a 5-2 wash victory, so a 5-0 victory for Fateful Findings.
I call that a clean sweep.
I mean, hell yeah. Next week we have the Master of Disguise with Dana Carvey.
Yeah, we do.
Is that going to beat this one? I'm not so sure. Fateful Findings is our worst. But I mean, I don't think Dana Carvey is funny at all, and the movie doesn't look funny.
When he's in his element, I think he's funny.
Oh, you do?
I think he can be funny when nothing else around him is as funny.
His sketch show
that.
on like NBC or ABC was pretty good.
I feel like David Spade immediately outlapped him, and I don't think David Spade is funny.
Well,
I think David Spade is funnier than Dana Carvey, and he's not funny.
Well, funny you mention that. Dana Carvey and David Spade have a podcast together called Fly on the Wall, where they interview people associated with Saturday Night Live. And David Spade is actually kind of funny on the podcast, and Dana Carvey is annoying as fuck. And it's made me hate it made me hate Dana Carvey more. And I actually stopped listening to the podcast after like a dozen episodes. I'm like, I can't take him anymore.
Yeah.
So Dana Carvey has had his moments to be funny, but as a person, he's not.
David Spade, I always felt like in interviews, like off the cuff, he could be funny, but when he writes for himself, trying to be funny, he's not funny.
Yeah.
And people just make him a total bitch in the movies that they write for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
He does that like kind of effectively, but it's never funny in my opinion.
Yeah, and Senseless when he's got the paddle and he's just like,
yeah. I mean, in Grandma's Boy when he's Shiloh, it's like the max out version of what I'm talking about, and it's kind of funny, I guess.
Which is still funnier than Dana Carvey. He's still funnier than Dana Carvey.
No, I'll give him this. If you've never seen The Emperor's New Groove, which is a cartoon movie about David Spade's like Cuzco emperor, like Mayan emperor, being turned into a llama. It is really well done, and David Spade does great voice acting for it, and I'll give him that. And that's all I'll give him. That's the one like big credit I'll give him. Anyway, next week we are watching The Master of Disguise. Rob, why don't you plug us and throw it to Bob for his last word?
Sure. You can find us at www.theworstmovieevermade.com. We're on all the podcast streamers. We're on YouTube. Our episodes go live and we call it Wednesday, but it's really super late on Tuesday because I live in Central Time and I'm not in the future like Chris and Bob.
He's in the past.
Around 11 p.m. Central Time Tuesday night. Yeah. I don't even know. You already know, right? I see I see a bunch of shit happening behind you through your picturesque window of the city behind you.
Know.
And then every episode goes live on Sunday because we get copyright takedowns every time we upload movie clips to YouTube. So it takes a couple days to clear. So yeah, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok. We have polls, and on those polls you can vote for what movie of our choosing that you would like to see the following week. This week we had a tie last week, so we just doubled up and just went with back-to-back tied movies, which is why we're watching Master in Disguise after Meet Dave.
Per
Bob,
your suggestion. Listening on.
yes.
I'm gonna
what's
say.
the last word, Bob?
I'm gonna say Glizzy's out the poop chute.
Glizzy's out the poop chute.
Lizzie's out the poop chute.
That's such a profound note to end on. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Hopefully the world is still turning. Good night, America. Yeah. Election results. I might have to get off social media after tonight. I don't think I can handle it anymore. Because, like, once this election's over, they're going to start coverage for the next 4 years of election preamble.
All the swing states are still swinging.
They start swinging.
Are they?
Yeah.
Including mine.
This is not a politic podcast, but, you know, it's on our minds. So I'm just going to stop rolling the tape. Let's get Jelly School out of here. Bye, Jelly School. All right. That's Meet Dave. And next week, it's a Dana Carvey.